Microsoft said, no more exclusives for you, everybody else. The Indie World Showcase was whatever. GameStop is laying off everybody. And hashtag boycott Sony because of Spiderman. For a while here on the channel, we've been talking about Microsoft bringing its games over to the Switch, right? Or bringing it, you know, we're like, oh, we're gonna get like Master Chief and some other people popping up on the Switch here soon? What's the deal here? Like, we're gonna get Xbox Game Pass, all kinds of other silly, wacky ideas that we had that we thought were like, okay, well, it looks like it might be happening. We got Cuphead, we got this. It was like, whoa, we got the ball rolling. Maybe we're gonna get a snowball effect here. But no! Microsoft said, no. Recently, Microsoft just straight up said they got no further plans for this. They said, and I quote here, I'll bring up the full statement they made about it, but they said no plans to further expand our exclusive first-party games to other consoles. They have no plans. And they said they want to focus on making games for their platforms. And maybe they were like, you know what? Why are we giving them Cuphead? Why are we doing that? What's the deal here? And then some people were like, Microsoft, like, yeah, I don't know what Phil, what are we doing? Phil was like, I thought it was pretty sick, and then it's just too big. Everyone's like, no, Phil, what the fuck? These are our games. We made them. Microsoft acquired a ton of studios that were making, you know what? I'm going to get into the official statement here. I'm going to read this up to you. It has a lot to do with the studios they acquired. This is their official statement on the matter right here. Full quote. The past year has been an exciting time for us as we have more than doubled the internal creative teams making up Xbox Game Studios. As these new studios transitioned in, we were aware of some existing commitments to other platforms and will honor them. However, going forward, these new studios will focus on making games for our platforms. It sounded really funny. Like, okay, we know they gotta finish them, but after that, your ass is ours! We have no plans to further expand our exclusive, blah, blah, blah. We continue to believe deeply in crossplay and progression of games with the right flexibility for developers to ensure a fair and fun experience. We want to support games where, you know, you got Fortnite on Switch, you got Fortnite on Xbox. We want to make it so it's, you know, a nice fluid transition. If you're playing on Xbox, we want you to be able to play your profile because we know it helps out our console too, but no more games for you guys, right? That's enough. You got enough. We recently got Ori and the Blind Forest announced. I believe that's what the game's called, right? Ori and the Blind Forest. It is. We got that announced, and at the Indie World, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit, which is maybe the last Xbox exclusive, Microsoft exclusive we're going to get on Switch, right? Exclusive, obviously, because it's coming to Switch. It might be the last Xbox Microsoft game we're getting on Switch. This is kind of disappointing, right? I was like, oh, I thought Xbox turned over a new leaf. We're like, you know, we don't care about the console exclusive anymore. They already like degraded it a little bit with PC, like if it's on Xbox, it's on PC, etc. Blah, blah, blah. But I figured they were gonna go full force, like Airsoft Fatty, and just or Robert rather, and just unleash and just go. You know what? Everyone gets Xbox games. Xbox game for you, everybody, regardless if you have the system. But hey, that's not the case. Maybe they realized it wasn't that great of a business system. That has to be the reason, right? Because they have been bringing these smaller Xbox exclusive games to Switch. It's like indie shit, basically. Nothing big. No big deals, really. They've been bringing that over, but maybe they're like, you know what? This is not working. This is not going to work. We're not going to do it. Because it felt like they were going, and I think literally people at Microsoft had a talk. They were just like, you know what? No more of this. Not happening. So that is sad to see. I was interested to see Game Pass on Switch. I really was. We talked about it. We've been talking about it for months. It's been like kind of like a hinted at rumor like thing. There's been like little weird cheeky tweets and everything from people. But it looks like it's not happening. Microsoft said, no way, Jose. If you're not going to bring, bringing Game Pass to Switch would completely be exclusives coming to Switch. So I really just don't think it's happening. Sorry, guys. Sorry to everyone that wanted that. And I guess it makes sense business-wise. They're realizing how well Sony did with exclusives, and they're like, what are we thinking here? We need to keep the chief locked down. So they're going to try to do that, I guess. And, you know, I think it's going to help them out in the next gen so it doesn't weaken the first-party exclusives, like I said. Because this last gen, there's been no reason to buy an Xbox because of exclusives, because they're on PC and etc. And, like, PlayStation has exclusives out the ass. If you were going to buy a console, Xbox or PlayStation, you should have bought a PlayStation because they had the exclusives, right? Persona 5, God of War, Spiderman. Are you kidding me? It's outrageous, the exclusives of PlayStation 4 has. It's unbelievable. But maybe Microsoft's taking a note and they say, you know what? Lock it down. Like I said, lock it down. Oh, whew. And the Indie World Showcase was yesterday or 2 days ago. It was really recently. I don't remember if it was yesterday or 2 days ago. When you're watching this, it was recently, okay? And I thought it was pretty boring. I didn't care at all. I was just like, okay, indie game I don't care about. I mean, obviously it's all indie games, but like it's like they're not like, they don't look good. They don't look like they had a lot of effort or care or love put into them. And they're like, Shane, how are you gonna hate on the indies? I'm like, I like some indies, right? I like Cuphead. I like Shovel Knight. Those are games that like you can tell they try, they put their heart and soul to it. Some of these other indie games, I feel like, is people just like, I kind of like video games. I kind of want to make a game. Let's just, you know, let's give it a shot. Not our best shot. Let's just give it a shot. That's the type of indie games I saw in Indie World. I was like, oh great, whoop-de-doo. And you're like, Shane, what about Ori and the Blind Forest? That was there. Yeah, that was the best we got, right? And that was, I just talked about it a minute ago with the Xbox stuff. I don't know. The Indie World just did not excite me. If you wanted my opinion on it, there it was. If you were excited for Indie World, God bless your heart. I'm great. You're gonna get all those digital games, and I hope you have fun with them. Big goings on at GameStop. God, this was a big deal. GameStop they're a sinking ship, and they're trying to like toss all the heavy weights off so they can stay afloat a little longer. And the heavyweights in this scenario were employees of GameStop. Not a very good analogy, but hey, I tried my best. They laid off over 100 employees and almost half of Game Informer's staff out of nowhere. Today, I think it was today. And that was corporate employees at GameStop were the people that got laid off, like people in offices and stuff like that. The editorial staff at Game Informer is who took a hit on that side. GameStop owns Game Informer. You know, if you ever signed up for the Elite, you got like a year of Game Informer to your house just so you could throw it in the trash. You're like, I don't need this, and you just throw it right in the trash because who wants a Game Informer? Not me. But I got them just because they were like, you're getting this for free. You know, whatever. But approximately 14% of GameStop's total associate base at company headquarters was laid off. 14%. That is more than 1 in 10 people. They were just like, well, see you later, Greg. You know, we're fucked, so what can you do? But GameStop said that they were committed to supporting the employees during this time of transition. I'm like, I don't think you are, because if you were, they'd have a job. How are you going to support them? What, you tell them they did a good job? Or are you going to give them some candy? I don't know what do you mean? Because you're like, we're not paying you, but we've got your back. We'll say you're sick. Tell you what, if Walmart calls us, we'll tell them you're awesome. Is that how you're going to support them? Because, I mean, other than like giving them a severance package with like payment and stuff, maybe they're doing that. I figure they're not, but you know, these are corporate employees, so maybe they are. Maybe I'm jumping the gun here and GameStop is taking care of them. I just can't imagine it. You know, it's GameStop. What are you gonna do? But as far as Game Informer's staff getting laid off, half of the editorial staff, who reads Game Informer? Like I said, I just threw it straight in the trash. Anytime I got a Game Informer, I just threw it straight in the trash. I don't go to Game Informer's website. I don't check any of that. Who actually cares about Game Informer? Really, honestly, do you? I don't think you do. If you do, tell me a comment and say, Shane, are you kidding me? Game Informer is the best publication and website I've ever seen. But I don't think that's a big deal. Game Informer goes away completely. If they have fired everyone at Game Informer, they shut down Game Informer, I don't think anybody would notice. They're like, wait, Game Informer's gone? What are you talking about? What's Game Informer? Bring back Nintendo Power. That's a reputable, we need that, all right? That's a reputable print magazine, okay? But yeah, Game Informer going away, nobody cares. GameStop's trying to revamp. This is all part of GameStop's revamping thing. I hear they're trying to get back into retro games a lot, because they're like, well, we went too far, guys. It's that classic meme where it's like, oh, we went too far, and you got to go back. Because games are all digital nowadays. They're more, each generation, each year even, it just gets more and more. Digital sales are just taking a larger percentage, which sucks. We've been over this. I like physical, but you know, like, okay, well, what can we sell? Obviously, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, Sega Saturn, any classic retro game that's physical only, right? And apparently there's been stores in like Texas and stuff that have been doing this, that like have the 64 and Super Nintendo and all these stuff. I saw Spawnwave was talking about on his channel. I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. And I would be really excited to see one of these myself. I hope this gets rolled out nationwide, and because I would never ever buy a classic game off of GameStop's website after all the horror stories I've seen online of people getting like Red Conquers Bad Fur Days and just like stuff that's outrageously over the top, clearly fake. But GameStop said, this is real. But yeah, if you go in store, that's not going to happen. You're going to be able to look at the item yourself, right? You're going to go, okay, this is legitimate. All right, great. I don't know if you'd be able to take a little bit tool and open it up and check the board, but maybe you could. I don't know. But I would be interested in seeing one. I just like looking at retro games, so that alone right there would get me in GameStop again for sure, guaranteed 100%. I would go check that out. I'd go dumpster diving too, because you might find some real gold at that point. But I'm interested to see what GameStop's got up their sleeve. I really truly am, because it looks like they're gonna die, but if they do really pull off this retro situation, they might do all right, maybe. And hashtag boycott Sony is trending because Spider-Man may not be in the MCU anymore. Their companies are in negotiations still, but stories are conflicting about this. Some people say like, oh, well, it's done, they're done. And then a lot of people are saying, oh no, the negotiations are still going on, blah, 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 blah. But anyways, Sony and Disney had a deal for the first 2 Spider-Man solo films and then be able to use them in like Infinity War and shit like that, right? Any other movie there's in, Civil War, whatever. They had a deal where Sony was making like the huge bulk of the money and Marvel was just happy with having Spider-Man. It's what it seemed like. The deal I'm about to tell you is like, it's terrible, right? The deal was, let's see where it is here. The original deal was that Disney only received 5% of first dollar gross. And I was like, what the hell is first dollar gross? And I looked it up, and first dollar gross is apparently it's the first day of release box office, which is obviously going to be the biggest day for any movie, right? The first day. I'm like, that's it? That's all they got? Did they not get like a residual thing after that? Like, is that literally all they got? Because, I mean, maybe I'm missing some stuff here, but that's all I saw. I'm like, that's nothing. Sony was getting 95% of the first dollar gross, and then like what residual after that? Like, what about the DVD sales, etc. Blah, blah, blah. I know Marvel owns the toy rights to Spider-Man, the merchandising rights to Spider-Man, I should say. But yeah, Sony was getting a hell of a lot of money. This deal was clearly far, far, far in their favor. Marvel just wanted Spider-Man because they think he's cool. But now they built him up and they built this whole little Spider-Man in the MCU thing, and they're like, check it out, Sony, let's work this out because our deal's up. It was only for 2 solo movies, I believe. And Sony was like, we're not having it. It better be same deal or nothing. Apparently, that's what happened. Disney wanted a 50-50 split, which I think is completely fair, right? Because Sony is, what are they doing? They're not doing anything. They're literally just like, you can use Spider-Man, you go make the movie, you do everything and just give us money. What else is Sony doing, right? Like literally, it's Marvel Studios that makes the movie, right? What is Sony doing? I don't think they're doing anything. They're just collecting money. So that's a little outrageous, Sony. Just sit back and collect your 50% and be happy because you don't know how to use Spider-Man. And you go, Shane, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies were the best. I don't think so. That's my personal opinion. Fight me. But obviously, the world doesn't think they're the best because this Spider-Man movie, Far From Home, the most recent one, was Sony's highest grossing movie of all time, $1.1 billion. That's not even done yet. They're about to re-release it with an extra scene. I guess maybe that's a thing Marvel's doing nowadays, like just to milk it a little harder. They're gonna just keep doing that with movies from now on, just re-release movies with like an extra scene in it, which is kind of fucked. Like, I don't know what, you're just getting like the diehard fanboys to double down, which is kind of weird. But anyways, Sony, you couldn't do that. Sony, you could not have done that. You would not. The second highest grossing Sony movie of all time is from 2012, like a James Bond movie or something random. It was something so random. But I'm like, you couldn't have done this. So can you not just be happy? Let them use Spider-Man and take your 50-50. I just thought this was really interesting because I like the MCU and I like Spider-Man. I want to see more Spider-Man MCU movies. But this also ties into Sony PlayStation because the boycott Sony thing was like, people were like, oh, we're not going to see their movies. And then people were like, fuck it, boycott PlayStation. We're not having it anymore. Which, speaking of Spider-Man and Sony recently bought Insomniac Studios, which are the people that made the Spider-Man PS4 game that was incredible, absolutely amazing. I've made a review of it on the channel if you want to check that out. If you're still watching the video, go check it out. It's a fun review. But yeah, they bought that, so now they own Insomniac. So the next Spider-Man game is going to be exclusive to PlayStation 4. The last one already was. When I was reading this on like IGN, or I think that's where I was reading it, they were like, so I guess that means the next Spider-Man is going to be exclusive to PlayStation 4. I'm like, so was the last one, dumb bitch? Like, are you fucking kidding me? What does that have to do with anything? Doesn't have to do anything. That doesn't mean, like, you can hire a company to make an exclusive for your company. It's like, that's how it works. I don't know why that even needed to be stated, but hey, Sony's all about that Spider-Man, and they're getting a little greedy. If Sony does not let Marvel continue to make the Spider-Man movies, they're just gonna drive them straight into the dirt. I am sorry. Venom was just all right. It was not that great. So I guess we'll see. Prayers for Spider-Man. I don't give a shit to boycott Sony though, because I don't care that much. I just like it. I don't love it. Okay. Ooh, sticker! If you want to be like this badass on screen right here, hit up our merch store, FUgameCrue.bigcartel.com. We got stickers now. We got shirts and mugs. Go check it out. Stickers are cheap, free shipping, $1.51 for one, $2.50 for two, 3 for 3, so on, so on. And if you want to support the channel but you don't want to buy merch, patreon.com/FUgameCrue. Go check that out. Links to that and other things in the description of my personal channel, all that fun stuff. Just get down there and mess around and get dirty. And I'll see you later.
So I want to say thank you to your loyalty. Thank you for your support.
For a while...